This is Digital Hype TV. I'm your host Jay, and today we'll be reviewing the Sony a6000. Amazing performance at half the size of conventional DSLRs and half the price. Well, that's what Sony says on their website. The a6000 has the world's fastest AF with 179 AF points and 11 frames per second burst. Aside from that, it has a 24 megapixel APS-C sensor and an ISO range of 100 to 25,600. The camera also boasts some interesting video features, shoots in 1080 at 24, 30, and 60 frames per second. It also comes with features like peaking and zebras. Another note about video is that this camera actually provides a clean HDMI output, so you can use this in tandem with recorders for video work. With all these specs in mind, if you're looking at an entry-level DSLR or mirrorless camera, the a6000 may be one of the best options out there. The camera comes with the standard mode dial that you'd expect from any mirrorless or DSLR camera, and two customizable dials, one at the top, right next to the mode dial, and one at the back near the screen. They can both be customized to an extent. You can make the top one for shutter speed and the back one for f-stop, or the top one for f-stop and the back one for shutter speed. This is one of the biggest gripes with the camera. There's no dedicated ISO wheel. It's not the biggest drawback, but it can slow you down when you want to set your ISO manually for shooting weddings, sports, or other events. If you want to get this camera for photography, you're going to want native E-mount lenses, and at the moment there aren't that many. Although, if you don't mind using manual focus and are interested in filmmaking, the E-mount really shines because of its adaptability. You can take a lens like this Canon 50mm 1.4 and attach it directly to your camera. The only drawback is that you do lose autofocus, which is one of the biggest selling points of this camera. Although if you're a filmmaker, most of the time you will want to just go with manual focus for complete creative control. Now, you might be interested in this camera for its compact size, for portability, to take it anywhere to shoot. But once you put on a big enough lens, it's not as compact. For actual portability, the best route would be to adapt some vintage 35mm lenses. They're pretty compact and the adapters aren't too bulky. Although if you want portability and autofocus, E-mount primes are another route as well. This is a 35mm 1.8. It's actually pretty small. You could throw it in your bag and grab it pretty quickly compared to using the 18-105. The biggest drawback for filmmakers or videographers is the lack of a standard microphone input. This is a Rode VideoMic Pro. It's a very standard microphone for a lot of videographers and filmmakers. There's no way you can attach this to the a6000 and get audio from it unless you use an external recorder. Sony does offer their own microphone that can be attached to the a6000 via the multi-interface unit. It's kind of tight. Compared to the Rode VideoMic Pro, it's a good microphone, it's not great. With all that in mind, we're going to take this camera outside and put it to the test, see if it really is worth the price tag and if the photo and video are as good as it sounds. We're going to take you out for a test drive, like when your dad let you drive his BMW and you said, "No, Dad, I don't want to drive it, I'm scared." And he said, "No, son. No, you can do this." And I said, "No, Dad, I really can't drive right now." He was like, "Son, I believe in you. You crashed into the ravine. You jumped out the last second, but your dad, he went down with the BMW. You never drove for the rest of your life. You can't even look at cars anymore."
Is that why you can't drive?
I can't drive, Dad. Stop, Dave. Where are you, Dave? Dave, what? Dad, why? This is my dad. Rest in peace. Sweet man. We're at the park right now. We're gonna get some test footage with the camera. We're gonna be shooting in ABC HD, getting some 24 frames per second and 60 frames per second footage. And we're gonna grade it a little bit later to see how well it holds up. like how the light's breaking through right here, so I'm gonna get a few shots and maybe some video, because a few people have actually asked me if you can get a really nice cinematic look with this camera. So I really want to get like some awesome shots that could be put into like a nature doc or just some B-roll. I am using continuous AF mode on here right now. And one thing to know about it is if you're doing in video mode, it has this kind of a stutter. So if you're shooting something that it's kind of hard to choose the AF, you probably just want to keep it to manual. The viewfinder on this camera is technically supposed to be used with the right eye. I've had no issues using it with my left eye. My nose hits the LCD a little bit sometimes, but it never affects my shooting. The thing about these E-mount lenses that it drives me crazy. The manual focus is just, it's kind of slippery. It's not as, it's very smooth, but it takes some adjusting to get the focus right. So if you do run and gun, you're probably gonna be in situations where you can't do your own lighting. And that's where cameras with high ISO capabilities really come in handy. So we're gonna try to go in here and really push the ISO and see how the image holds up. We're gonna shoot here, we're gonna do 24 frames per second to get the most exposure that we can from our shutter speed, and start at 100 ISO and go up each step until we get a nice exposure, and then maybe try to push it further after that. So at 100 ISO. It's good. Yeah. All right, 640 ISO. Or 1600 ISO. This is usually where, most APS-C cameras kind of degrade completely in image quality before it's unusable. And right now there is some noticeable noise, but it's definitely usable. So we'll push it up a little bit more. We're 3200 ISO. This is typically the range that many full-frame DSLRs will stop at. The 5D Mark III, Canon 6D, which can go a little bit further. So we'll take it up there. All right, now we're at 6400 ISO. We're about properly exposed. We have a lot of noise, but I feel like I could take this into editing and reduce that a little bit to where it's usable. Hey, you guys want to go in this creepy hole? So we're gonna do a few, there's a ghost in the tunnel. We're gonna do a few photo tests just on this archway right here to see how the detail really comes through. Just wanna try to get as little ISO noise as we can to get a real good feel of how this camera gets detail. Looks good. We're gonna step inside, back into the creepy tunnel, and get some low light photography, see how the ISO performs with all 24 megapixels. Probably just have to set it down for a bit of a longer exposure. And bump it up to, let's just say 12,000. Let's see how the detail goes there. Definitely lose a lot of detail, but that should be expected. 12,000 is halfway up. And now we're gonna go all the way up to 25,000. Ooh. There's lots of noise at 25,000. All right, we're gonna try to test out the autofocus and the 11 frames per second burst on some cyclists.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
After all that, do I like this camera? Well, Sony just sent me a check. So hell yeah, I like this camera. If you're thinking about getting your first camera, the a6000 is one of the best choices you can make. It's an all-around great performer. If you do want to get into professional photography down the road, Sony currently does not make any fast standard zooms. They have a 2470 f4 and a 7200 f4. In the professional world, you would want them to be f2.8. Although for video, I would say that the a6000 is a very solid buy. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and please like and subscribe. It'll really help us out, and it'll let us make more videos like this in the future. I'm Jay with Digital Hype TV. Next week, I'll show you how to shoot 4K RAW on your iPhone 3. You got my butt crack? Damn it.